Hey, everybody, and good afternoon. Welcome once again to the LMN Live Virtual Training Classroom and today's special edition for snow, where we're going to start talking about how you guys can use your LMN accounts for time tracking, as well as learning how you guys can use the LMN software to create a digital snow binder for your snow crews. So let's take a look at what we're actually going to be covering today in session number 2 of our 3-part snow series. So first things first, on our agenda today, we're going to be talking or taking another look at our CRM tool that's available in the LMN software, how you can save information about your customers and the job sites that you've been contracted to clear. We're also going to take a look at some of the built-in tools that are available in LMN to make your lives easier. Now, once we have actually taken a look at the original estimate that we put together in session number 1, we're going to show you what some of the key features are of the actual job that you've created from that approved proposal or approved estimate that you've sent over to your to your customer. You're the contractor, that's the customer. All right, but next, we're then going to show you how you can actually plan for your snow events ahead of time with your crews and making sure you get them set up for success. Now, going back, now that our agenda is off the table, why should you guys be using your LMN accounts for snow removal work, right? We already know why you're going to be using it for design build and for regular maintenance, but why should you use LMN for snow? Well, let's take a look at some of the reasons why. Number 1, overall cash flow improvement through automated invoicing. Yes, you're going to learn a little bit more about this tomorrow in session number 3. But more importantly, we want to improve your overall cash flow situation for your overall business. So it's great that your customers have contracted you to clear their snow, well, whether it be commercial or residential. But it's also important that you guys determine a way or understand that LMN can assist you guys with improving the overall cash flow, because yes, it's great that we can make sure that we can send an invoice over to our customers and get paid for that work. But we also understand that you, as an actual landscaping contractor or as a landscaping business, you have bills to pay, right? You've got mortgages or heat or hydro or your LMN subscription, right? Let's be honest, right? Your QuickBooks subscription, for those of you using QuickBooks for accounting purposes, your vendors need to get paid and so on and so forth. So there is a fine line between how much money is coming in and how much money is going out. And LMN is there to help you guys improve that cash flow situation. So when your vendors are sending you a bill, well, you already know that the bill that you've sent your customer is going to get paid really quickly, right? So you've got the money. Now, LMN will also provide you guys with the use of the LMN Crew Mobile App and your crews actually going out into the field and doing that snow removal work, GPS and timestamp data. This is very, very important for not only you as a business to understand that your customers have been cleared. Your customers will find this important. And again, because you have access or that you're providing your customers with our customer portal feature, where they can view actual job site information or job site history based on your visits, you can provide them with digital timestamp data, including imagery that shows what the property looked like before you started clearing when you arrived and what it looked like once you were done by capturing those photos in the field. And of course, those images will be timestamped. So again, when your crews are in the field, make sure they know to actually snap a photo before they start and when they're done, giving your customers that before and after. Now, it's not only important for your customers to be able to view this information and yourselves to be able to view this information, but in some cases, it might help you guys with insurance capabilities as well. So in some cases, if there's ever a slip and fall claim that's submitted to your customer, well, your customer's not the one that's going to be paying it. They're going to be passing that on to you. So please remember, any evidence that you guys are collecting with GPS and timestamp data while you're in the field will be automatically recorded into your LMN account that you guys could use to counter any of those insurance claims. Now, we also want to talk about in today's session about putting together a digital snow binder for your crews. Why? Well, because it makes them more efficient. by providing your crews with all the necessary information they need to do, that they need to have when they're clearing snow, whether it be, again, commercial or residential, they need to have all of that information available to them. Now, in the past, or maybe even now, you guys are using a paper binder, and we know that there are some not so happy things that can happen to those binders, right? They can fall out of the truck, or they can, land in a snow pile or in a puddle or whatever the case may be. Or worst case, even still, is your crews forget to take that binder with them, right? And of course, then they don't have any of that job site data. But remember that you have the LMN Crew mobile app tied to your LMN account. And essentially, by providing your crews with backup job information or digital binder information in the LMN Crew app available per job site, well, chances are probably pretty good that your crews are not going to forget their phone, right? We've come into that day and age right now where we know that we do not leave home without our phone, or we're almost useless without them, right? So they're going to have their phone or their device with them. Put all the information that they need to be more efficient or to make sure that the site gets cleared properly in an actual digital job binder. And I'm going to show you guys how we can do this today. Now, another feature that we're also going to be talking about in today's session is how you guys can use LMN to have effective or efficient snow routes predetermined or set up in your LMN accounts, and how your crews are going to be able to plan ahead for any potential snow event that might happen. So today we're going to be looking at ways to help you guys understand who needs to be cleared, and of course, in the most efficient order to clear those routes or those job sites without having to schedule them. All right. Because let's be honest, everybody, the scheduling tool in LMN will not allow you to schedule snow. I mean, it will to a degree, but let's be honest, how do you schedule snow? Well, you can't really. So we're going to basically walk you guys through today how you can be prepared for a potential snow event ahead of time without having to worrying about actually scheduling that clear. Okay, so again, we're going to make things really, really simplified for you guys moving forward. Now, the last reason why you guys should be using your LMN accounts for snow removal work, because it will give you, as the actual owner or as the operations manager or whatever your role might be within the company, will be able to view how your snow operations are progressing from anywhere, right? You don't necessarily have to be in the office looking at your LMN account or at home at 3 o'clock in the morning with your computer on, right? You guys can do this from anywhere at any given time. Go on vacation, okay? If you have vacation time or you've got a trip planned down to some, to warmer climates like Cuba or Jamaica or Bahamas or whatever the case may be, go. If you need to know how your operations are running, simply log into LMN. It's cloud-based, okay? So you guys can see how your crews are doing, which sites have been cleared, and so on and so forth, right? All of that information is going to be available. Additionally, your customers can go on vacation too, right? So again, if you are doing residential snow removal work and your customers are snowbirds and they decide that they want to go down to, the southern states or a warmer climate for a few weeks in the wintertime, they can, right? And if they want to see how things are going, they can log into your customer portal while they're sitting beside the pool having a Mai Tai or whatever they're doing, and they can actually see that their driveway or their walkways are being cleared because that's why they've contracted you. So again, LMN does a lot for you as a business, but it also provides a lot of information to your customers. Now, what are some of the best practices that LMN recommends when it comes to getting prepared for snow removal operations? Now, I realize that we're towards the tail end of the summer in all defense, but it's still really warm out. We don't necessarily want to talk about snow, but realistically, this is the best time to do it. So in order to help you guys follow some of our best practices, okay, number one, make sure you have as much information as possible stored within the customer's CRM profile, right? Job site information, make sure you have the correct address, the correct owner's name and phone number and email, and so on and so forth, right? Make sure you've got as much contact information as you possibly can within your actual CRM tool in your LMN account. Now, additionally to that, always make sure the address is correct, okay? I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this story where the crew goes to the wrong residential property and clears the incorrect driveway, right? The driveway that's not contracted to be cleared. And two things are going to happen when that potentially happens. Number one, you guys have just cleared somebody's driveway for free. And number two, the customer that did contract you that lives next door, well, they're going to be a little bit disappointed that you didn't clear their driveway as contracted. So again, always make sure that your actual contact's address is correct. Now, any imagery or any documents that you guys want to make sure it pertains to that contact, make sure that you've got it in your file section of your CRM contact profile. Okay, again, this could be the contract, this could be job planners, this could be whatever necessary information you guys want to use, but put it in the actual CRM contact under the files tab. Okay, in case you guys weren't aware of this, your LMN account can also be used as a digital storage area. All right. So we here at LMN, we are not going to limit what you guys can upload into the amount of information that you can upload into a CRM contact profile. Use it as a storage facility. And better yet, if you do use this as a storage facility or a storage area, it's shared amongst everybody in your company or on your team that has access to your LMN account. Okay, so again, contracts, agreements, verbal, emails back and forth, and so on and so forth. All of that information can be stored within the file section or in the actual communication history. Now, if you have any important information regarding the actual physical job site itself, okay, there is a secondary storage area in your accounts that you guys can use per individual contact called the job site file section. So when you guys, and we'll review this in today's session, when you guys are actually looking at your customers or the contact profile, if there's anything specific that you want to basically keep on hand or keep saved for that specific job site, make sure you upload it to the job site file section. Okay. And again, unlimited storage here as well, guys. So again, if you have, pile location indications or images, a picture of the property that you're going to be clearing, whether it be, again, a commercial parking lot or a residential driveway and walkway, whatever the cases might be, capture as much imagery as you possibly can. So that way it is available for everybody in your company to be able to view it. Okay. So again, anything specific or high level that's related to the contact should be in the CRM contact file section. And any key or pertinent information that's specific to the actual job site itself can be stored within the job site file section. All right. So keep that in mind as you guys progress or as you guys start using your LMN account. Okay. So all that aside, okay, those are our best practices. And of course, those are the reasons why you guys should be using LMN. So let's take a look at our actual estimate that we created in session number 1 and just walk through some of the key pieces of information that you guys should be looking at and how you can turn that actual estimate into an actual job. All right, so let me just share my screen with everybody here. Okay, and there we go. So now we're on screen 2. All right, so here's the estimate that we put together in session number 1, right? We put together a project at 1779 Woodview Avenue for our good customer, Mark Johns. So we know exactly where we're going, and we know that this is part of our snow and ice division. And of course, we changed it to just make it easier for, any of us to be able to find. Now, when you take a look at this estimate, and of course, in session number 1, we kind of walked you through that when you're creating your estimates for snow removal, and this is probably a little bit easier with residential than it is with commercial, but for all intents and purposes, you can do it for residential and for commercial the exact same way. All right. So in this case here, we basically put together an estimate that we can use over and over and over again for any residential customer which provides your customer with the option to pay per visit or on a seasonal contract or even time and material or on an hourly basis. Now, in this situation, or the situation that we kind of went over in session number 1, okay, we know that the customer has decided, okay, to basically contract us to do per visit snow removal. So every time we do a clearing, in this case, we're going to charge the customer $140 plus taxes, right? Pretty straightforward, okay? Now, what should you guys be looking at before you just randomly, or not maybe randomly, but before you go ahead and create a job from this actual estimate? Well, I like to recommend 3 key things, okay? Number 1, okay? Make sure that the estimate has been sold, okay? Although we tell you guys that there is unlimited storage capabilities in LMN, you guys can create as many jobs as you want. Don't create a job for the sake of it, okay? If the job has been sold or the customer has agreed to your proposal, then create a job from it. It doesn't make any sense really to have any jobs in your account that really aren't going to get done, okay? So I kind of goes without saying that, rule number 1 or checklist item number 1 is to ensure that your actual estimate has been sold in the first place. Item number 2 is making sure that your crews have all the instructions that they need to know when they're actually doing a snow event, right? Task notes or crew notes. So again, specific instructions as to what they need to look for or do when they're doing a snow event. So in this case here, if I open up that per visit snow removal task note, I can see here that we've instructed our crews to please refer to our digital snow binder for any snow removal information. Okay, so again, it's very, very obvious, and we'll tell them the moment that they clock into that snow removal task, okay, that they need to consult the digital binder for any job site related information, right? Keeping things really nice and easy. Okay, so we'll close that off. Well, that's checklist item number 2. Checklist item number 3 is your contract, okay? Now, in case we missed this part or we didn't describe this to you guys accurately in session number 1, let me just reiterate, okay, some of the rules when it comes to creating your contract. If for any reason, okay, you've got anything that's set up as per visit or per hour, setting up a contract is really, really straightforward, okay? So I'm going to basically say that this contract doesn't really exist at this point. So when you guys are actually converting your jobs, okay, like I said, anything that is set up as either per visit or per hour or per unit, setting up your contract is really, really straightforward. Go into your contract tab and create a contract for this estimate. That's all you need to do, okay? It keeps things really, really simple at this point. Now, if you have anything that's seasonally priced, so if good old Mr. Mark Johns here decided to go with that snow removal per season, we would need to set up a seasonal contract based on that $2,600 seasonal price. Therefore, under our contract, we would need to set up each monthly payment, okay? So keep that in mind, right? Anything that's per visit or hourly does not require this step. Anything that is seasonal, you would need to turn your contract on and to calculate each monthly payment, okay? So again, hopefully hopefully that's pretty clear and pretty straightforward at this point. So I'm going to click on my save changes at this point in case there was anything that I changed. And now I can go ahead with this. Now, additionally, when you guys are creating your actual estimates, okay, if you guys are going to create an estimate that does provide your customers with optional billing types for that snow removal service that you're going to be offering, please remember the one that you guys are going to be creating the job for moving forward should be left unchecked, okay? This will ensure that it eliminates any confusion for your crews in the field. They know they're going to be doing per visit billing. They know that you guys are going to be creating an invoice based on each and every single event that you're clearing while you're in the field, okay? Now, one of the things that I wanted to let you guys know, and this will probably be a little bit more obvious in session number 3 that we'll talk about tomorrow morning, but essentially, okay, the billing type or the service type that you guys are creating is going to do 2 things for you moving forward. It's going to tell LMN how this service is to be billed and how this service is to be scheduled. Okay, so again, that service type does those two basic functions or basic features when you guys are actually starting to do your invoicing moving forward. So just based on that service type of being it billed out per visit, we know that our crews are going to be helping us with our actual snow removal invoicing. Okay. And again, should walk you guys through this in a little bit more detail tomorrow morning. Okay. Now, those are your 3 checklist items. Okay. Your estimate's been approved. Number 1, it's sold. Number 2, you've got your crew notes. So your crews know what they need to do when they're on the actual job site. And part number 3, or checklist item number 3, you've got your contract activated or at least turned on. Okay. That's really all you guys need to do. From that point moving forward, you can now go ahead and create a job. So when I click that create job button, I'm going to get a job created for this proposal. And in this case here, I've got my snow removal per visit. Okay, that's going to get moved over along with my crew notes. And in this situation here, I'm just going to change my job type at the very top of my page from basically built in to snow removal, right? So I'm going to go to snow and ice removal, and you'll notice that I'm going to be removing some of my default tasks, okay? So all I'm going to bring over is that snow removal service and any of the crew notes that are associated, right? We click on import now. My job is now created. Okay, very, very simple. Now, feel free at any given time if you guys want to go ahead and change your job name or your short names or anything like that. Again, it's entirely up to you. But for most parts, okay, when you guys are creating your job, most, if not all of the information that you guys had available in your actual job itself or in your original estimate will now be available in your job. So if we go down to timesheet tracking, we've got our punch in task, right? Snow removal per visit. We've got an estimated amount of time on site for 2 hours per visit. We've got our services. So we know that we're doing a per visit snow removal service that's billed per visit at $140. And additionally, if we go down to the very bottom of our screen and we take a look at our invoicing, we can see that this contract or the invoicing feature in LMN has already been turned on, okay, for date-based invoicing or for service jobs. Okay, again, because we ensured that it was already created in our original estimate, it's automatically done for us or turned on for us in the actual job. Okay, so what's left, or what's some other information that we really need to cover off here? Well, essentially, when you go into the job info and settings, there's one other thing that I would recommend that you guys take a look at before we move on to our next steps. Okay, and it's taking a look at your assignments. Now, the assignments feature or the assignments portion of your actual job is to allow you guys to start tracking who is responsible for doing what for this particular job. In this case, we already know that George Brown is the salesperson who sold this contract. We know that LMN Academy were the ones that created the original estimate for this. Now, if you guys have a snow operations manager or a leader, okay, again, or somebody in your company that's responsible for all of your snow operations, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to take that individual and choose them from your list of users within your LMN account, okay? And again, you can choose whoever you need to in this case. Lastly, you want to make sure that you've got your primary crew leader foreman. Okay, so if you know who is actually going to be doing this work or which crew lead is going to be doing this particular location, you can choose that individual moving forward. So I'm going to choose myself, not to be greedy or anything like that, but it's just because I'm here and why not? So this is going to do a couple things for you guys. Okay, the first thing is essentially by assigning or providing ownership of this job, we also know who the individual responsible is for capturing or, I guess, generating the revenue that's going to be basically done on this job. So in this case here, we know that we're going to be generating an invoice for $140 plus tax every single time we go and we clear this driveway. In that case, George will get credit, okay, for $140 per visit. LMN will get the credit for estimating $100, $140 per visit. Again, if there's a division manager and account manager, they will get the credit for that. But not only that, but Chris will also get the credit for his crew going out and doing that work. Now, all of this is going to help you guys with your overall bonus structures at the end of the year. So when you guys are determining bonuses, if you give bonuses, which I'm assuming everybody does, but one of the things that you guys can use LMN for is to automatically calculate how much revenue each one of these individuals is generating for their company or for your company so that they can actually go ahead and earn their bonus. So if you actually go into your dashboards and take a look at your staff revenue, okay, if I look at crew leads, for instance, I can look at Chris and I can see that he has a target of $400,000 worth of revenue for this fiscal year. And so far, he's at 224 or 56% of that. Well, basically, because we've done that assignment, all right, every single invoice that's generated for us moving forward, Chris is going to get credit for it automatically. You guys don't have to do any manual data, searching or anything like that, or spreadsheet filling out or anything like that in order for you guys to be able to put that information together, right? LMM will provide that for you, okay? So let's go back to the actual job that we just created. Actually, let's go into our jobs list, not into our job dashboards, right? So we're going to go into our job list and we're going to search for all of our jobs. Actually, it'd be in no groups. Okay, and we've got that job that we just created, right? So again, we can start putting all of that information together for you, or at least providing you guys with some automation in the background. Now, one of the other things that we wanted to make sure that we talked about today is getting you guys set up with your digital snow binders, right? Making sure that you guys can start capturing information for your crews so they know exactly what they need to do and when they need to do it and how it's to be done, right? Let's make them more efficient, okay? So how are you guys going to do that in your LMN accounts? Well, essentially what you're going to do is you're going to start using some of the other built-in tools that are available with LMN. And the tool that I like to recommend that you guys use is our site measurement tool, okay? This is great for starting to put together your digital information, okay? So again, the site measurement tool that's built into your estimating feature will allow you to take rough measurements of snow removal areas as well as measurements for sidewalk clearing. So you can actually point out or at least capture the actual dimensions or the size of the property in which you're going to be clearing, which can help you guys to determine how much you need to charge for the work that you're going to be doing. Now, when you're using our site measurement tool, make sure that you follow some of our best practices, okay? Again, use the site measurement tool to determine areas that need to be cleared. Measure your driveways. If you're doing commercial snow removal, measure the actual parking lot or the area that that company has requested or contracted you to clear. You can also use the site measurement tool and a screen capture tool to save additional images, which you guys can use to indicate snow locations or maybe even plow routes and so on and so forth. And then upload those captured screenshots to the job site files location under your CRM contact. So how does all of this work? And what some other ways that you guys can use this to your benefit moving forward? Well, essentially what you guys should be doing, and let me just share my screen with everybody, okay, is going back and consulting the original proposal, all right? The screen capture tool that's available with LMN is available to everybody, okay? Just so everybody kind of has a good idea here. So if I go and click on View Estimate, this will take me back to the original proposal that we created for good old Mr. Mark Johns. So in this case here, if I go to my services and pricing, I have the Measure Site tool available right here. So if I click on the Measure Site tool, using the information that we captured in our first session this morning, okay, I could look here and see that we've got some basic measurements, or well, we don't have basic measurements, but we need some basic measurements for the overall property. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a new measurement for the overall driveway, right? And I'm going to basically look at the driveway snow removal measurement, and I want to measure out the actual site. So by clicking on the Measure Site tool, with the help of Google Maps, okay, this will allow me to get a topographical image of what this actual property looks like. And I can zoom in and zoom out as needed or as I need to start capturing this information. So in this case here, if I do drop some points, I can see exactly where we're going to be clearing this overall driveway. Now, it's going to require a little bit of modification. So I'm going to just drag some points here so I capture just the driveway area. We don't necessarily need the grassy area in this case. So we're going to go up here. Okay. And again, drag this down here. Put this over here. And I'm going to just do this very roughly for now, just so we can get a good understanding of how this works. All right, so roughly the area in which I'm clearing, okay, or I'm being contracted to clear is roughly 3,124 square feet. By clicking on OK, I can save that image into my actual job site measurements, and I'm just going to round this up to say 3,130, okay? Pretty straightforward, plus or minus a couple square feet. Now, one of the other things that I'm going to use the site measurement tool is also I'm going to capture this image so that my crews know what they need to clear. And I'm going to provide this as information for the digital binder. So again, I'm going to click that measure site button for that measurement that I've already taken. And I'm actually going to use something called Lightshot. Okay. Lightshot is an extension that you guys can use with your Google Chrome web browser that will allow you guys to do actual screen captures. Okay. Yes, we all have Snippet built into our computers or what have you. I personally like to use Lightshot. And because I like to use it and because I recommend it, I'm actually going to give you guys a little piece of information. I'm going to post it in the chat message there. So there is a link there for you guys to use, right? So in that link, if you click on that, this is a way for you guys to add Lightshot to your actual Chrome browser as a free extension, right? Again, you're not paying for it. It's free, okay? So use it with your Chrome. Now, how Lightshot essentially works is at the very top of my screen, I can click on this little feather icon, which will then allow me to then do a screen capture, right? So I can basically highlight the area in which I want to mark or that I want to capture, right? No different than Snippet. But what does make LMN or what does make Lightshot better is by looking at these little tools that are available down the right-hand side of the screen, okay? This will now allow me to mark up or for me to indicate or draw on this image anything that I need. So in this case here, I'm just going to write in some text in this empty spot right here. This is the area in which needs to be cleared. Okay, pretty straightforward, right? And then I'm going to save this image. So when I save this image, okay, I'm going to go into my desktop folder and I've got an ACA images for snow folder that I can basically save this for. Now I'm going to create a new folder and this is going to be for 1779 Woodview / Johns. Oops, helps if I spell it correctly. Okay, and I'm basically going to put it in here and this is going to be 1779 Woodview 1, right? Really straightforward. Click on save. Now, using this same field, okay, I can basically go down and I can do an angled version or I can do topographical version. Now, one of the other things that I like to do as well is I like to take a clean image, okay, go into driveway, go into the measure site option where I don't have anything marked up in this case. I can zoom in a little bit and then topographical. I can use the Lightshot tool or the screen capture tool to then mark up or to indicate where the customer would actually like the snow piled. All right. So again, clicking on that little feather icon at the very top can take a capture of the screen. Okay. And then using some of the additional tools, I can then indicate where the snow piles are left, right? So I can put an X, I can put an X, I can put an X, okay? I can put an X, I can put an X, and so on and so forth. And then with the text tool, again, indicates snow pile locations, okay? Very, very straightforward. Okay, can scroll down, click on the save button. Okay, it's going to go to that exact same folder. Oh, maybe not. Okay, snow. Okay, and this is going to be image number 2. Okay, again, click on OK, done. Now, image number 3, especially for those of you that are doing commercial, might be an actual route in which to actually clear this property. So again, using light shot, okay, I'm going to take another photo or another capture. And this time I'm going to use the arrow button. And now using the arrow, I'm just going to indicate which way is best to clear the actual driveway, right? And again, put in a little note. So again, if I put in this little note, and we're just going to move this up so it's not hidden away. Arrows indicate plow route for quicker clear. Oops. And of course, it does help if you spell things correct. Okay. So again, click on save. Go to my desktop, into my snow folder. Okay. And again, this is now going to be image number 3. Okay. Now, one thing that I do generally recommend that you guys do, again, is make sure you've got a picture of the house. Okay. We know that the actual property is correct, but what I'm also going to do is use the actual screen or the measurement tool. And I'm just going to take another picture of the actual property itself, which should be over here, I believe. Right? That's kind of the image. Probably not the best example, right? But that's 1779. No, that's it there. We were at the wrong property. No, we are still at the right property. All right. And then take a picture of the actual house itself so everybody knows where they're going. Right. So again, you click on your little feather. And in this case here, again, you can take that whole image and then you can box it out to make sure that they know what the actual house looks like. Okay. And so on and so forth. So we can save that. Again, go into our desktop, save it in our snow folder and against the actual property. And I'm going to mark this one as actually file number 0 so that it shows up number 1. Okay. So we've actually got everything stored there. But what does all this mean for us? So essentially, we've got all of our information. Now we want to go into our job site files location. And here, what we want to do is we want to basically capture all that information for the actual snow removal. So in this case here, I want to make sure that I upload some files. So I'm going to go to my upload files. I'm going to go into my desktop, that same folder, and I'm basically going to take all 4 of those images and I'm going to upload them to the actual job site files location so that they're there entered in. I've got 1, 2, 3, and file number 0. Okay. All the images that my crews are going to need. So if I go back into my actual job now, by going back into the job, what I want to do now is I want to basically capture and provide my crews with those images. So going into the actual job info and settings tab and under job files, I'm going to go into my action button and I'm going to link files from my CRM. And in this case, when I first click that button, this pop-up window is going to give me all the files that I've uploaded to this contact in the contact files tab. Okay, so again, if I look at my actual contact, okay, all that is going right here, right? So these are all the files that have been uploaded. But if I want to just choose the files that I want for this particular job site, I can click this little checkbox and there's going to give me 0, 1, 2, 3, and right, link those files together. And now those are available for my crews. right? They're going to have a picture of the house. They're going to have a picture of the area that needs to be cleared, the picture with the X's and the markings so they know where to pile the locations, and of course the plow route, okay? Or the, if I'm going to be using a push plow, okay? Whatever the cases might be. So again, that now puts together my actual LMN job, okay, for my crews, keeping things really nice and easy. So now that we've put together that information, what exactly are our crews going to be using? Well, that's the LMN Crew Mobile App, okay? Now, the LMN Crew Mobile App is not just an app that you guys are going to be using to track your time so you know how much to pay your crews, right? It's not used for just payroll, right? It provides them with information in regards to the estimate that gets converted into the job. It helps you with your overall operations. It does allow you to track the time so that you guys can use it for time tracking, but overall job progress, as well as for analytics that will provide you guys with job costing information to ensure that you priced out the work accordingly or efficiently enough so that you guys are actually making money when you're using, when you guys are doing snow removal. Now, with that, every job that you guys are going to be creating in your LMN account is going to provide or is going to get created with the 3 necessary requirements for the actual job itself. The task, which is going to track the time that your crews are going to be measured against when they're doing the snow removal work. The service that's going to indicate what was actually completed while they were on the job site that day. And then, of course, any of the materials that were used while they were on the actual job site. Okay, so again, one of the things that you guys are going to need to do, not only in the job, okay, but also in the actual LMN Crew mobile app, is indicate what you guys want to track in relation to your overall snow removal work. So again, let's go back to the actual job. Okay. So one thing that you guys are going to need to do if you want to track the materials that are going to be used, even though you're not billing for it, is to make sure that you are tracking that material on the actual timesheet. So you know how many bags of salt were used or being applied when you guys are actually doing that snow removal event. So in this case here, I'm going to track on my timesheets as well as track my overall quantity. And then if I want to track my truck and plow, I can do that as well. Okay. And in this case here, I'm just going to adjust that my snow salt is not being billed. Okay. Again, we've got a fixed price for our snow removal per visit. Although we do want to make sure that we're not billing for it. We have one fixed price. Okay. So using the LMN Crew mobile app, how are we going to be able to find this job? Well, essentially what we're going to be doing now is we're going to now take a look at what the LMN Crew mobile app allows us to be able to see when we're using this. So if I clock into LMN Crew now, okay, and I enter in my phone number so I can log in, I'll get a text message here that allows me to clock in, right? 598-501. Nope. 501. Okay, I can log in. I now want to take a look at that actual job, right? So in this case here, I'll go to my actual jobs. I'll find a job. And if I want to find a job by September 17th, okay, there's that job. If we take a look at our job files, there's our individual images, right? There's the picture of the house. Okay, there's the picture of the plow route. There's the picture of the plow locations. Okay, and there's the picture of the actual, sorry, there's the plow route. My apologies. And of course, that's the original image of what the actual house looks like, right? So my crews are not going to mess this up, right? So we kind of have all that information together. So now that we've kind of got all the digital binder information put together, so my crews know what the house looks like, what needs to be cleared, where they're going to be piling the snow, and how they're going to clear the driveway in the most efficient manner. We need to then figure out how are we going to plan for this in case of an actual snow event. And this is where we start talking about something called job groups, okay? Because please remember, okay, you guys cannot schedule snow removal. You don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know how much is going to fall, and you don't know how long it's going to fall for. So let's be proactive with this plan, okay? And let's work together or show you guys a way that you guys can ensure that your crews are going to be ready and they're going to know where to go when an actual snow event happens. The best way to do this is by using something called a job group, okay? Job groups in LMN allow you to group specific lists of jobs together, right? Pretty obvious. I just read it off of the actual slide. But reality is, there's two different kinds of job groups that you guys can create in your account. There's a standard job group, which we would recommend you guys create in your account for all of your snow operations. You can create multiple job groups: snow removal, residential, snow removal, commercial, and then one group, snow removal, right, for the entire division, and then break it down individually. Many of the reports that you guys have access to or that you can run in your LMN accounts, okay, can be run by a job group rather than by individual jobs and then consolidating all that data together, right? That's just a waste of time. So if you want to see how all of your residential snow removal jobs have been doing, create a job group with all of your residential snow jobs, right? Really straightforward. Now, the second type of job group that you guys can create in your account is a routed job group. And this is where you guys can make sure that your crews know where they need to go and in the order of which they need to go when a snow event actually happens. So job groups basically allow you guys to be simple, right? Keep things really nice and easy. It also makes sure that you're capturing for route density, right? So again, you want to make sure that all the residential customers that are in one particular area are all in one group. So that way you can ensure that they all get cleared in time. This will allow you to report on that group as well. So if you want to break your actual routes down into zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest, whatever the cases may be, you do you, whatever works best. Okay. But the bonus of using job groups in LMN is it will not require you guys to do any scheduling work. So keep in mind that if you guys have a snow event and without using job groups, if a snow event should happen at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, you will need to have somebody get up, log into LMN, and take those jobs and put them on the calendar so your crews know where they need to go. Well, that's not efficient. So if by creating a job group with all the routes planned out and all the actual customers in an actual route, well, guess what? They can access that at any given time. So when you're talking about job groups in LMN, make sure that you set up your services and your monthly payments before importing. We kind of already covered that earlier in today's session. Make sure that the address is correct and that you've got an actual photograph of the property with or without snow, entirely up to you. Take the files that you download or that you capture from the actual job site and make sure that they're linked to the actual job and set up your job groups in bulk. Okay, again, to save you or to maximize your efficiency or to eliminate any wasted time. So essentially what you guys are going to do in your accounts is you're going to be setting up multiple job groups, all right? To do this, go into your jobs tool on the left-hand side and look at your actual job groups. So again, create a job group for all of your snow removal, okay? So if I go down my list, okay, I would want to take a look at all of my snow removal jobs or my snow removal division if it were. So this job that we just created for September 17th, okay, I would want to make sure that it's in this job group, okay, because this is all of my snow removal work. That's another customer, right? I'm going to take that one out for now, right? Save and close. And it was only because it was a duplicate. Additionally, I will create another snow route, okay, for my actual crews to follow. So if I go down here into snow route number 1, okay, what I want to make sure is that I've got good old Mr. Mark Johns, okay, or our contact saved in an actual snow route. So I want to make sure that he's saved into this group because I know that's where his residential property is. So again, I'm going to look for his job. Okay, and I'm going to add it into that group. Now, once I've added that contact or that job site into this grouping, I would then want to take a look at the actual route that I'm going to be clearing. So in this case here, okay, I'm actually going to go to 425 Whitevale Road in Pickering. Okay, and again, it's going to be the same one here. Okay, that's going to be my start and finish. Okay, and then when I click on my optimize, it's going to basically put all of those customers into that specific order for me. So point number 20 is also point number 1. That's my start and finish location. And if I zoom in, I can now see 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're then going to come down here, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, shoot back up here to 15, 16, 17 are really close, 18, 19, and then we're going to go back to our yard. Okay, they're put into an optimized order for us. Now, if our contact wants to be done first, we can go back into our job list. And if we look at our customer that we just added in here, which is almost down the bottom now, if we know that he needs to be done first, we can physically move him to the top of the list, okay, if necessary. So again, just play around with this. If you have one of those customers that needs to be done first, maybe they're a doctor, they need to be able to get out of their property as quickly as possible, whatever the case may be, I can then look at my new route based on that information, right? So again, customer is going to be our first stop, okay? And it's going to be in and around here, right? 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth, okay? It gives us that planned out and we can save and close. Now, because we've done it this way and because we've optimized that job group, when we're using the LMN Crew Mobile App, okay, when we're looking for our jobs, we don't necessarily need to go and look for a job. What we can do in the Crew app now is we can go into our routes and we can actually just look up snow route number 1. So again, I'm just going to scroll down here till I find snow route number 1. Okay, and when I click on that, all my jobs are in order and look where the customer is, right at the very top of our list. And we now know exactly what order in which we need to clear all these properties. Now, job groups will also allow your teams to work together, your crews to work together. So if crew number 2, who's doing route number 2, if they finish earlier, they can always open up route number 1 and they can start at the bottom of the list and start working their way back and so on and so forth. So job groups or routes in this case will allow your crews more efficiencies and be able to help each other out. They just need to make sure that they're communicating amongst themselves, okay, between themselves, right? Keeping things really nice and easy. All right. So all that aside, okay, that's basically the best way for you guys to start putting together your snow routes, as well as making sure that your crews know exactly what they need to use or to do in order for them to know what has to be done when they're doing that event. So to recap what we've covered off here today, okay, we took that estimate that we created in session number 1 and we created an actual snow job, okay? We set up a snow job group for our entire division, as well as showed you guys that a routed job group can also help with your overall planning ahead of time. We can then optimize that job group so that it makes sure that you're spending more time clearing the actual property versus actually driving around. And of course, we've taken a look at how all of this is basically conveyed within the LMN Crew mobile app. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I've covered off here today, please feel free to hit me up in the chat button at the very bottom of your screen. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. If you want to learn a little bit more about some of the features available in LMN, please remember that we've got live virtual trainings happening pretty much every single day. So reach into your help and resources menu in your LMN account and check out the live virtual trainings options if there's something you guys want to learn about. Additionally, we are currently doing 2-day in-class snow sessions. Now, unfortunately, the last session is going to be held this week here in our Markham office, but we will be doing them again. Also, keep in mind that Mark Bradley is going to be hosting some really cool sessions or some webinars in relation to snow removal work. One of them is going to be held, well, right now, and the next one is going to be held on the 22nd of October. So please check out our website and check out our resources menu and register for this session as well. Additionally, Mark also hosts, and some of the industry professionals also host weekly mastermind sessions where they talk about industry related topics and how it relates to the landscaping industry every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. So again, check out our website to register for one or for all of our events. And for any of the features that I've talked about today, like the site measurement tool and job groups and creating estimates or creating jobs from estimates and linking files, you can check it out in our help desk as well as our virtual academy classroom. So tomorrow morning, just remember at 8 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to be talking about session number 3, where we're going to show you then how you guys can invoice your actual snow jobs so that you guys can get paid really, really quickly and maximize your overall cash flow opportunities. So on behalf of all of us here at LMN, I want to thank you guys for sticking around today for session number 2 for our in our 3-part snow series. Thank you again from LMN, the education team, and more importantly, myself. Please stay well, stay safe, and I look forward to seeing you guys all again very, very soon. All right, take care, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.